I saw Hereditary by myself in the theaters.
Oh my God, dude. That is so much worse.
Yeah.
Hereditary would have sent me to another fucking dimension if I didn't like watch that with somebody else. There's been like a seismic shift, I feel like.
Ooh, how so?
For most of spooky season, it's been spooky. Don't get me wrong. But like, it's like dark outside in Seattle. It's been raining.
Ooh.
I feel like it has really fully blown into spooky season. Also, we're recording with the lights down just to really set the mood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're trying to make it as spooky as possible for us as well.
I'm feeling it. Honestly, I'm scared. I wrote a
You're already scared?
I'm already scared.
Just like, look at David just sitting there
Menacingly.
menacingly with his story ready to be told.
Hey, hi everyone. It's Video Game Potiomism, the Optimist video game variety show where two best friends talk about the wonderful world of gaming. My name is Chase.
My name is David, Spooky David today, actually.
David Gulavides.
You can call me Spooky D.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you, Spooky D.
What do you have a spooky name?
Okay, let's see. I've got a new last name, so I feel like there's more room for spooky. Albee really did not lend itself to spooky portmanteaus.
I mean, you could always say you're all bees, which is kind of scary. Like a man made of bees.
Conceptually, it's frightening, but I feel like it's not like, it doesn't sound like a ghoul or a vampire or something.
Chase, I'm going to eat all your heart.
Okay, all right.
That's the best I got. You got anything else? Got anything better? I felt like that was mediocre.
I'm just furiously trying to figure out if there's some kind of like joke with bone, and I don't think there is. I want to be a skeleton.
Oh, Chad Bones.
That's me, the spooky guy, Chad Bones.
That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. That's fine. I think we're good there.
Close enough. Spooky D and Chad Bones sound like if they made like a shock jock trio in hell.
I kind of like Spooky D and Chad Bones though. I don't dislike that.
I'm totally fine with it. Just put some shock jock sound effects over that. You can call me
Spooky D.
And Chad Bones. You're already scared?
Yes!
A man made of bees. A man made of bees. A man made of bees.
I don't feel like anybody in this room is focused on this thing but me. I feel like I am the one constantly pushing the tanker through the ice. I will auction you right out of here. I want to be a bee.
It's good. I like it. What I was saying before I said the intro was like, typically I feel like I write these stories. We're going to do our spooky stories later, by the way. Typically I write these stories that we do once a year for Spooky Month. And I try and make them kind of funny. It didn't come out as funny this time. It just came out scary. It came out scary. Just very frightening.
I'm excited. Mine still, I think I'm trying to do a little funny in there, but yeah, it felt a little scarier this time to me too.
We say that every year. I think we're just going to be like writing genuine horror by like year 5.
5 years, we're just narrating like a Stephen King novel to each other.
I think I've been playing a lot of scary games, and so my when thinking about how to write a scary story, I just like jokes were not there.
You've been inundated in the spooks.
I think so.
You've been living inside in spooks itself.
Yeah.
Truly.
So anyway, point being, I'm ready to be scared, and I'm already a little scared, which is great.
Perfect.
Before we get to our spooky stories that we've written for this year, have you been playing any games that you want to talk about before?
Yeah, I have been.
Okay, which ones?
I haven't been playing quite as many because I've been busy studying.
Yeah.
I'm done with school, but I'm still studying. Here we are.
Yeah.
I've been playing Scorn still. I quite enjoy Scorn.
We talked about this a little bit last week.
Yeah, Scorn is the first-person horror game. It's kind of like inspired by the art of H.R. Giger, however you say that.
Yep.
H.R. Giger. So it's very squelch heavy. Lots of squelching in this game.
Yeah.
Wet squelching is if you could describe it in like one phrase, it'd be wet squelching.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying it. It's weird to say, but it is kind of a low-key horror game. I can play this game and not be super invested mentally in it.
Interesting.
Because there aren't a lot of like jump scares. There's not a lot of need to really control precisely.
Yeah.
It's more just thinking and puzzle solving and just kind of experiencing and enjoying the environment that you're in and the vibe that it's setting. So it's a very different sort of horror game than I've played before.
Yeah.
Which is kind of refreshing, honestly. You know, I don't think a lot of horror games really need to do a lot of combat.
Yeah.
Sometimes combat can even take me out of a horror game experience, honestly. I feel like there is a fine line to walk between being immersive in the tone of the story and then also either making the player feel too powerful or too powerless when it comes to combat.
Yeah.
And in this game, you kind of you don't even have to engage with the enemies. You can just kind of back away from them.
Yeah.
And they'll leave.
Huh, that's fun.
Because it's pretty clear to me that the game developers did not intend for you to really fight in this game, because the fighting doesn't feel very good.
Yeah.
Like everything that you have at your disposal is something that's used to solve puzzles with, not to deal damage. So of course you can do that if you want to, but it doesn't usually end up very good.
Yeah.
If you push the envelope or press the situation aggressively, it definitely rewards you of just trying to do what you would in real life, which is if I don't have to fight you, I won't. I will just leave you alone and just let you do your thing, which is interesting. I kind of like that. It's a scary environment, but it's not an aggressive, I'm going to kill you environment. Yeah. It is in some ways, in that it feels like the game is always trying to suck the life force out of you. Yeah. Is the overarching theme that you get in multiple instances, that it's just trying to absorb you into the environment, but it's not trying to outright like aggressively attack you. Yeah. It's just kind of letting the miasma get to you, which is interesting.
A draining sort of horror experience.
Yeah, it's just trying to drain your life from you.
Interesting.
Which makes it kind of an easy play, which is weird to say, not stressful or like having to require a lot of, like I said, precise movements or reaction times. It's just thinking, getting around the environment, solving the puzzles, which is fun. Yeah. So it's kind of like a good game to play at the end of the day when my brain's kind of shut off after I've been studying. Sure. So I've been really enjoying that game. It's
That's
great.
Cool. Yeah.
And then I've also, very opposite end of the spectrum, I've been playing Mario Bowser's Fury.
Whoa, yeah, that really is the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, Super Mario 3D Land Bowser's Fury, I think is what it is.
Are you playing the Bowser's Fury part of it?
Yes, I'm playing the Bowser's Fury part.
Cool.
I was playing the 3D Land or 3D World part of it, and I was like, okay, this is fun, but this is the same game I played on the Wii.
Yes, yeah.
Right, or the Wii U, I should say, sorry. RIP Wii U, that was a great console. At me, at that, I will defend it.
Whoa.
I will defend the Wii U.
The Wii U was great. Defender, wow.
I love the Wii U, dude. It fit my big old massive hands. It was so ergonomic. I could play it with the TV off. So anyone else in the house could just like do what they want. It was a disrespected console in my opinion. I'm a Wii U apologist.
Yeah, I love that.
Anyways,
that's fun.
It also played Smash Wii U, which was a great game.
Also good, yeah.
But anyways, I've been playing that game, and it is kind of a triumph. It's really fucking good.
I've heard this.
It's so good.
That it's like shockingly good for like what seems to be kind of almost like a side game.
Yeah, it seemed like it was just supposed to be an add-on. Yeah. Just like we're just doing something that's kind of make it so you'll buy it. So it's not just the same game. Yeah. But this game is so good. This game is so good. I'm so happy I was playing it because I just finished studying and I was like, I need to play something that is like lighthearted and whimsical and easy and just pure fun.
So you played Scorn and then you played Mario.
I played Scorn and then I played Mario. Yeah. And the first level, you are thrown into goddamn Giga Bowser. You're just you're like going one-on-one against him. Did you play this one?
So I never ended up playing it either, but I feel like I've heard of so many people talk me through it and I've watched people stream it and whatnot that like I sort of have like got a pretty good understanding of it. It seems kind of like a miniature open world sort of deal where you collect Mario stuff and then also like Godzilla Bowser fights you every now and then.
Yeah, it's great. It's the most terrifying I think Bowser has ever been. He doesn't say anything. Yeah. He just comes out of nowhere. He just stares at you, breathing heavily. And then just starts blasting.
He's like Pyramid Head in there.
He's like Pyramid Head in this game. So you have this very ominous first level where there's no music. You get thrown into this world and you're just moving around. It's all dark and like fucked up and there's all this goo everywhere. And then you fight Bowser. You like get past him finally after he's like throwing fucking fireballs at you and doing his Giga Bowser blast, which is pretty much just Godzilla's nuclear breath just across the level. You beat him and then you go into this level level that has some of the most amazing Mario music I have heard in quite some time. So imagine you have just spent quite some time battling a big, scary Bowser who doesn't say anything. He just looks at you and breathes ominously, menacingly. And then you beat him. He gets thrown back into the goo. The ink, I guess it is, because it's like Baby Bowser from... or Bowser Jr. from Sunshine. Is your bro in this one. And something's happened to Papa Bowser. You've had a terrifying experience, and then this song starts playing. That violin is really so good. It is absolutely... It's like taking a big... It's like cleaning your mind. It's like spring cleaning for your mind. This song is so good. And for me, and kind of like my anxious post-study brain, hearing this was like, fuck yes, I am here 100% for all of this right now. This is exactly what I need. It's just this kind of just happy-go-lucky, everything's gonna be all right. You conquered the big thing. It's good. There is some joy on the other side of this challenge. And it's so good. Also, they have the best Bowser music in this game.
Hit me with it.
Because whenever he comes up, they will play this really cheesy but great metal song.
Oh, I think I've heard this
for Bowser. It's so good. It sounds like they tried to rip off Metallica, but like in a very fun way. There it is. So what will happen is that you'll be playing the game, and then all of a sudden it'll start raining, and like the happy-go-lucky music will like slowly fade out. And then the rain sounds and sound effects will start to become louder and louder and louder. And then all of a sudden this will start playing, and Bowser will just come and start fucking shit up, blasting you with like fire blasts and giant pillars just falling from the sky.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, that's fun. I like that.
But yeah, this game is amazing. It's really great.
Yeah.
It was a lot more than I was expecting in the best way possible. And I'm really excited to play it all and see what happens. And if this is kind of them playing around with what the future of Mario is going to be, I am so fucking here for it. This is so good. Like, I think that there is definitely a world where like this type of Mario game and like a Mario Odyssey type of game can coexist together. Whereas you have like the mini open worlds in Mario Odyssey. And then this was just like one big open world. Where you have this kind of dynamic interaction with the boss. Not to mention that you become a giant cat and can then fight Bowser in like a kaiju battle, which is
also good.
Something I did not know I needed in my life, but I definitely needed that in my life. This game's great.
I should play it because I've heard nothing but good things from other people of like pretty much the same sentiment of I did not know that this game was going to be this good. And it is that good. But yeah, like you said, I'm also interested to see like where this idea goes from here. Like,
absolutely.
I'm mostly just so interested in what they do after Odyssey. Yeah, because like I don't know, it's the sort of situation where again I'm curious. I was curious after Mario 64. I was curious after Breath of the Wild, where like it seems like this is like the pinnacle of what this idea can be. And so like where do you go from here? And I feel like oftentimes games choose to make like kind of a weird follow up, or at least Nintendo does with like their follow up to Ocarina of Time is a very experimental Majora's Mask, or follow up to Mario 64 is a very experimental Sunshine or something like that. And I think like, whatever everybody's opinions may be, I feel like there's a lot of inventiveness in a lot of those games, especially like Majora's Mask. And I like Sunshine too. So I'm interested to see where they go, especially if this is a part of it, if this is like kind of a part of the future of it, the future of the series.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's a nice way of doing it when you make something that's kind of considered a classic game.
Yeah.
To follow it up with something that's very different, just concede the point that, you're really not going to top this game right now. You can give people more of the same, but it's not necessarily going to be better. It's just going to be more of the same. And you don't want to get stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
Right, which is why I appreciate those Nintendo, just Nintendo in general, right? It just really is trying to change things up and see what works, and they're willing to take a flyer on things, which is, great, and more than most AAA publishers can say.
They really do. They're almost allergic to doing the same shit over and over again. And of course, that's not always true, but like, the new Super Mario Brothers, I feel like all kind of was like very similar for a while. And I think even Zelda kind of got stuck in a rut for a little while. But like, especially with the Mario games, I feel like they're always just trying to do something new with the mainline versions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, give it a shot. It's great. It's just playing a rainbow. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, nice. Hell yeah.
Cool. That's all I've been playing. Have you been playing anything, Chase?
Just 2 games that I want to talk about.
Cool.
Which are like just like cosmic opposites from how spooky the rest of the episode is about to be.
Sure.
I've been playing, the first one that I want to talk about is this game called Potionomics. This is not the game that I brought a couple of weeks ago. It is not Potion Permit. That is a different thing. Potionomics is another potion-based game.
Are potion games your new thing, Chase?
I guess.
Is this the new deck building roguelike for you?
Well, hang on.
Oh, is it a deck building roguelike?
It is a deck builder. It is not a roguelike.
Ooh, okay.
All right, so this game, where do I even start? I guess I'll start with the conceit. You are a person who, I think you're like your relative or like family friend or something, messages you, sends you a letter and is like, hey, I'm going to go off on this adventure. I leave you my potion shop if I don't come back. And of course they don't. And you go to this town and you're like, well, I guess this is mine now. And a person shows up and they're like, hey, the owner of this potion shop owed a lot of money and the debt now transfers to you. And you're like, shit, well, how much was it? And it's like an exorbitant amount of money. You're like, I can never pay that back. That's awful. And they're like, well, a great way to do it is to compete in these potion competitions. The next one is in 10 days and you can win a lot of money to pay back your loan with. And you're like, okay, well, shit, I guess that's what I got to do. And a friendly little owl guy drops down from the ceiling who's clearly been like living in the rafters for a while. It's like an actual owl, but he speaks English.
Sure.
And he's like, I can help you. I'm definitely a friend of your relative. Don't worry about it. Like, I'm
sketch.
Yeah, well, it's
so sketch.
It's presented in a way of like, he's been squatting here and didn't want to tell you, which is it's very fun. Anyway, so the way that the game plays out is that you are essentially on like a countdown, right? Like 10 days until a competition, and you have to brew potions of a certain quality to take to that competition. And the way that you brew potions is that like you go to your little cauldron in the morning or whenever it's on like a day-night cycle, go to your cauldron and you brew stuff, and it's like just putting different ingredients in there, and they all have a certain kind of like affinity almost. And it's like, this bit of material is this much in the A column. This one is this much in the B column. And you're supposed to like balance them out. And whatever that balance ends up making is like you either make a mana potion or a health potion or whatever.
Sure.
And like, the higher you can get those numbers, the higher quality it comes out.
Okay.
The way that you get any of those like bits and pieces to put in the potions is you have like a handful of friends around town. Some who will like sell you stuff, some who like go out and venture into the forest to like get stuff. Other ones who will like pool their money together and like go on an expedition or something with a bunch of other people.
Sure.
And so your main way of interacting with that is just like either investing with money or, sending your friend Mint out on little expeditions. Mint.
Like the herb?
Like the herb. Okay. Out on little expeditions, and you can give her like, potions to make her go farther or whatever. And so, you do that, you brew potions, and then to get money, you actually sell some of these. So if you're like, I know that I'm not going to use this one for the competition because the competition only requires 3 potions, and you make a lot more than that. So you go into the selling mode where you sell your potions. And this is the part of the game that is a deck builder. Essentially like
this is the nomics part of Potionomics.
Yes, yeah. Essentially a person will come in and they have like a baseline that they want to pay for the potion, and your job is to essentially upsell them to like get a better price, like haggling almost.
Sure.
And the way that you do that is through these like this like deck of cards that you build. And so like one of them will be like, okay, you're going to raise the base price 8% or something like that. Or you're going to give yourself like 2 defense in case case they come back and try and like, you know, downplay your potion and try and make it less appealing.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Which is really fun. It's like gamified how stressful it is, at least for me personally, to haggle with people.
Gamified haggling. Yeah.
Yeah. And eventually, you know, you close out the deal and like say like, okay, this is enough, and then do it. They also have like patience essentially. So like if you run out, if you are using cards and each of them has like, you know, they cost 2 patience or something like that. If you get down to 0, they leave, and like you don't sell it anymore. So you kind of have to be paying attention to like, okay, I'm raising the price, but I am going to run out pretty soon of like, they're going to get out of here.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's that part of it. So you make a certain amount of money doing that. The better potions you make, the more you can sell them for. And like, there's a whole bunch of shit of like, you know, if you make your shop look a little better, it'll make your potions sell for more. Or if you put one of them on display, like one of your really good potions, it'll up their price. And so all of that's true. I think like that part of the game, if it was just like a terrible looking text-based adventure, I would still be like, that's pretty fun. I like that. However, the thing that like has really drawn me in is this game is like shockingly good looking. Like I like the character animations,
Brad Pitt level,
like so handsome, these animations. So like the character models are all like really detailed and like really emotive. Like they all feel like they're very full of life.
Sure.
And not to mention the animations that the characters do are like insane how good they look. Every time I'm watching them, I'm like, this really like looks like I don't know if like a movie is the right thing, but like it looks so high quality.
It looks so good. It looks like almost Scout could have done it.
It looks like a Scout original.
It looks like a Scout original. It's so good.
So yeah, like the characters are just really emotive, and like I really get a good understanding of who they are, just like literally based on their design. And I think that's like really cool. I think that doesn't always happen in games because like it's hard to do that, right? It's hard to build characters that move in a way that communicates who they are. And so like it's hard for me to look away from this game when I'm playing it. It's just like so gorgeous at all times.
Sure. Yeah, no, it looks great.
Definitely reminds me of like Moonlighter. The game we've talked about before, where you know you go dungeon crawling and then you come back and like maintain the shop during the day. It's not exactly the same because like you're literally just brewing potions instead of like dungeon crawling or anything, but I like that conceit. I like when games are comfortable enough to say like, well, you are not the chosen one, you're just like a potion maker, and like you have your own story to tell. And that's really great. Not to mention like all of the characters are so good.
Yeah, I'm looking at these faces are so expressive.
Incredibly expressive. They've got like the positions that they put everybody in is like just so expressive. And you can get like again like a really good idea of who somebody is just based on like how they're expressing. It's very good.
Give this animator a raise.
For real, no. Like it's pretty shocking. So it's certainly good on all those fronts. I like just being a shopkeeper. I like just like that's my job.
Yeah, keep things simple.
Especially when everybody is such an interesting character and such an interesting person to like hang out with. I'm like, yeah, like let's do that. I like that. Let's see. The actual competitions are incredible. You essentially have like a haggle off with another like character where
so it's not about the potions, it's about the haggling.
It is both, because like the base price will be set a lot higher if you have a really good potion, but like, you know, you can definitely work your way up if like you don't have a perfect potion, right? And so like it just ends up being really, really fun in that way. It's essentially like this Olympic level sport that's in like a coliseum, and like you present your potion and the other person does it as well. Like your opponent does it as well. And there's like a judge in the middle that you're trying to convince of like how much your potion's worth. And so it's just incredibly charming. Like I really like that.
Very cool.
I will say the only thing about this game is that it is hard as fuck, David. It's so hard.
Unforgiving.
It really is. And like, you know, I checked online to see like what people are saying about it. And like, I think you get the typical, like, you know, somebody saying like, is this game tough for anybody else? And then a bunch of chodes in the comments are like, this game's so fucking easy, dude. You just have to follow like this 20-step guide that I put together. So like, it's... It is, I think,
oh man,
it is appropriately hard, and I get that they've probably tuned it to be very close, because like the first boss battle I did, I won by a hair, and like that's a really fun experience, right? Like to be able to just barely beat the boss.
Skin your teeth.
But like I do wish I had a little bit more time to hang out with Mint. You know, like I feel like most of the time I'm just like white knuckling on the wheel, like, God, I hope I finish in time. Like
I got people counting on me for this.
Yeah, like I need to make enough money. I don't have the appropriate ingredients yet. I hope I can get them in time.
So it also brings the anxiety of being a small business owner as well.
Definitely.
Of like every sale counts.
It does, because you do not have a lot of extra money in your bank account. And so like I hope that there's like some like level of difficulty sliders that they eventually bring into this, like either, and you could do that a number of ways, right? Like either making the expeditions cheaper or faster, or just giving you more days between the competitions. Like I think that one would help me a lot. Just kind of take the stress out of it. If it was like, rather than 10 days, it's 13 or 14, right? Like just a few more would help immensely. And so like, I don't know if that's something they're planning on, because it could just be like, this is just the way the game is. And like, I will still keep playing it because I'm just like totally like head over heels for the visual style, and like the actual game type is just really, really good. So I will certainly be there, but I wish it was just a little easier. It's kind of kicking my ass. Sure. So yeah, Potionomics kind of came out of nowhere for me. I didn't know that this was like a game that was coming out, and I saw it on Steam.
It's a Steam game?
Yeah, it was just like, hey, I bet you'd like this. I'm like, damn, Steam, you're right.
Steam's algorithm on you is
so accurate.
Pretty damn good.
Yeah, they like are really batting a pretty high average. So
is there any game that Steam's shown you you're just like, I'm not interested in this at all? Don't ever show me something like this again, Steam.
Usually not. I'll at least like take a look. Like, what's going on in here? This looks fun.
How many games are in your library? They probably have a lot of data on you at this point.
I don't even know. Lots of games.
100?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. There's like also so many of those like bundles I've bought over the years where it's like, here's 1,000 video games, and like
oh my
for
God.
like $10 or whatever. So yeah, that's Potionomics. If any of that sounds interesting, I would definitely recommend taking a look, because like this game has definitely got some buzz. Like it's got like 2,000-ish reviews on Steam, which is like definitely popular, right? Like people are playing this. But like I would love to see a lot more people talking about it, because I think a lot of this game is just like incredible. Cool. So yeah, I'm playing that. I'm also playing Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. David.
Ooh, is it good?
I am really enjoying this game.
Nice.
Did you play the first one out of curiosity?
I think I played a little bit with you, but I was kind of confused by it at the time.
Sure.
I wasn't big into those like XCOM style games at that point, but after playing XCOM, maybe I'll play this one.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, like you said, it's very similar to XCOM, and for anybody who doesn't know what that is, it's like a like strategy warfare game where you control a small number of people. With XCOM, it's typically like there's like permadeath, and you can fight a bunch of aliens and shit like that, and it's like a bit of a longer game. Whereas Mario and Rabbids, the first one, took a twist on it and was like, we are kind of just doing like a character version of that game. Like you're only able to play as like a handful, but they're all, it's Mario and Luigi and Peach and the Rabbid versions of them as well. So
and the Rabbids are from Rayman, right?
I think they were originally from the Rayman universe, but they definitely spawned off into their own like thing for a while there. It is a very bizarre combination of characters, I will say, but
yeah,
like if you can kind of get past the conceit and just like say like, yes, this is the universe that they live in, it's very fun. It's very silly. If you can sort of stomach the like minion adjacent character design, then like it's not.
It really is. It's really veering close to Minions.
It's close, right? Like it's goofy looking characters who talk in gibberish and like kind of get like, a lot of physical comedy in there. And like, I get it if that's not your tea. I'm not a known Minion enjoyer. I'm not a disliker. I'm not a hater, but like, it's not my cup of tea, but like Rabbids does manage to toe the line with this one, which I think is fun.
My dad loves the Minions.
Oh, really? Wow. I didn't see that coming at all.
None of us did, but he loves them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, power to you, Gus.
Power to you.
Yeah. This game essentially takes the ideas that they put out in the first Mario and Rabbids game of like this tactical sort of battling where like everybody has like a literal like laser gun, which is incredible.
Mario with laser guns sounds dangerous.
It's so wild, and like I love that combination that they do here.
He's trying to cosplay as Star-Lord because he sees, Chris Pratt's playing me now. I gotta get some laser guns.
I mean, he has dual laser guns like Star-Lord does. It's honestly not that far off.
There's got to be a little bit of knowledge there. I'd be like, wink, wink, come on.
Yeah, I hope so, because it is really fun. So anyway, I think like this game is definitely similar to that one. Like if you've played the first one, you will recognize a lot of what they're doing here. But I will say like the visuals of it are like really improved. They pretty much immediately set this in space, which is incredible. There's like cosmic monsters coming out of like wormholes almost immediately, which are incredible. Essentially the way that the story plays out is that you're like in the Mushroom Kingdom. And apparently the Rabbids are just like living there now. Like they've learned to live with one another.
Okay.
And there's like I said, this big, like what looks like the Storm King from Dark Souls shows up.
Fuck yes.
Makes
God,
like the same noise, which is like, holy shit. Big flying stingray looking thing, and like promptly attacks. And Mario's like, I guess I gotta shoot it with my gun now. And so he and like Luigi try and go fight it, and they end up like almost defeating it. And then, like I said, this like cosmic monster shows up out of a wormhole that's like got like tentacles as feet and like one single eye that's just like shining around. And you're like about to face down with it, but then the Rabbids and your like mechanical companions pick you up in like what appears to be a spaceship and then fly you out into space. And they're like, all right, well, I guess we got to go kick its ass. And they're like, okay, well, the way to do that is we have to go fly to all these worlds that it's been to and like erase its, they call it dark mess, is the like goop that it leaves behind.
Goop, the dark mess. Sounds like poop.
A little bit, yeah. The dark mess. So you
Did
do
I make
that.
you laugh about poop?
Always. It's such a low hanging fruit, but man, it sure do work on me. I'm a little baby.
Work?
It do work. I'm a tiny baby who laughs at poop jokes.
It happens.
Yeah, it does happen. So I think the biggest change that they've done, I also think one of the smarter ones, is that in the first game, the levels that you were wandering through to like explore and the levels that you fought in were the same spaces. So like if you rolled up into an area and there's bad guys, like that is the place that you will fight now, which was like pretty immersive because like you're just running around in like the same world and then you get into a fight and it's like right there. But I think designing the space that you're exploring and also the space that you have to like do combat in is like a really tough endeavor to do both of them well. Whereas this one, whenever you get into a fight, you like load into another area. There's like the conceit of like you're going into like the darkness area or whatever. And so what they're able to do is they make these like non-combat exploration areas like really fun and vibrant and like they look very good. And there's like, you know, the typical Mario exploration stuff of like go over here and if you put this like cube in this box it'll unlock this other area and there's more coins back there and more stuff and like it feels very like true to the Mario formula of just leaning on the player's sense of exploration and curiosity, which is really good. And then whenever they boot into battle, they've also got the option of like, okay, we're also able to make this feel like a really balanced and engaging arena to fight people in. And I really like that. I think it's like a really smart decision to split those two up, especially because it's especially because like so much of what makes Mario fun sometimes is that like exploration part, the curiosity part of saying like, I see something in the distance, how can I go get that?
Absolutely.
The combat is really, really good. Again, shocking that they can do like a XCOM style game and make it so good. It feels really balanced. I never feel like I'm underwater with like how tough the guys are or anything.
Sure.
It is challenging to the point where you still have to like think about it and be careful with where you're putting your guys to like not put them right up against a bunch of enemies. But they just offer you a lot of options with how to tackle the fight and all of the characters that you're playing as, which I think is like Mario, Luigi, Peach, the 3 Rabbid versions of them. And then they just introduced a character that I fucking love. I can't believe it's in a Mario game. There's like this Rabbid dude who has like an emo haircut and like,
is it Edge?
It's
I've
Edge.
seen him.
It's Edge, David.
I was like, this guy's awesome.
I can't fucking believe that this dude is in this video game. His entrance is insane. He like has this gigantic like cloud strife looking sword that he just like hurls at people.
It's like a boomerang sword, isn't it?
It is. And just his
So
whole character, I just cannot believe it's in a Mario game.
He's very self-serious, isn't he?
I mean, he's literally like they just took the Lord off of Edgelord and they're like, that's our character. It's so fucking good. During battle too, there's like these little like maybe 3 or 4 second scenes where if somebody uses their like specific character like special, like Mario's is if you use it, if somebody comes within a certain range, he like shoots them, right? It's like readying attack in D&D or something.
Yeah.
Peach's is like everybody in an area gets like 1 hit that just doesn't count against them. The Rabbid Peach is like she heals people and so on and so forth. But they show these 3 or 4 second clips of them like getting ready right as you do that, and it is so, every one of them is so fucking good.
Yeah.
Mario's is like it cuts to this like black screen. You see him like flip his guns around and like twirl them a little bit and then put him in front of his face like fucking Reaper in Overwatch. And he's like looking all serious at the camera and then just cuts back to the game. Incredible stuff. Luigi's is you again, sort of like black background on this like space area. You just see him put his boot down, and then it slowly like pulls the camera up to see Luigi like just drawing his bow back all slow.
Luigi has a bow?
He has a sniper bow. It's like it does
good.
More damage the farther away he is.
That's cool.
It's really good. And so like all of these characters have this play style that like it's obvious what you need to do with them, but you can only take 3 of them into a battle at a time. And so it really like behooves you to think about like, okay, what is this fight that I'm getting into, and like who's going to do well here? Rabid Mario has these like punching gloves that has like a huge radius if you can get close enough to people. So if there's like 20 dudes right in a little area, it really makes sense to just go use Rabid Mario. But like there are also enemies that if you hit them, they immediately run at you and try and attack you. So like Luigi makes more sense there because he can shoot him and they're not going to get close to him.
Sure.
And so it just all seems like this really, really smart design overall, combined with like just this like stuff that I do not expect to see in a Mario game. And I am so surprised that Nintendo is like, definitely, this is so cool with us. Like in a world where you can't, in like one of the Paper Mario games, you can't deviate from the character designs, you know, like they were so specific with how people could use their characters in that game. And then like Edge exists in this one. And like, like, you know, like it's Mario has a gun. Like, what the fuck is this?
I love it.
It's really, really good. It feels unhinged in a way that I really enjoy. And like also this is another one of the, similar to Potionomics, like the animations in this game are shocking. Just how like smooth and emotive everybody is in this game. And like it makes sense when you're considering like, yeah, it's a Nintendo game, but like it's not first party Nintendo. And so like it's pretty shocking to see all that come together. So I'm like really enjoying it. Interested to see if it'll carry me through the rest of the game, because the first one I sort of lost steam at a certain point. But I think honestly I think a lot of that was the world design just kind of looking very similar after a certain point, where it's like, okay, I can see that there's like an arena coming up here. I know that there's about to be a fight versus like, you know, just wandering around the beach that this game has, you know. So that's good. I'm really enjoying it.
So since they set this game in space,
yeah,
do you think they're going to do a Mario Rat and Rabbids times the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 crossover?
Good Lord, dude.
And
it's totally
Chris
possible.
Pratt Mario in there.
I don't know if I need him in there.
Chris Pratt Mario, Peach is Gamora, Donkey Kong is Drax. Who would be Rocket Raccoon? Toad?
I think
Groot. Or would Donkey Kong be Groot and Drax would be Bowser?
I feel like Rocket Raccoon is Toad. Like that's
Rocket Raccoon's Toad for sure, right?
I don't know. Who'd you say Luigi was?
Ooh, I didn't have Luigi in there.
I feel like Luigi could be a good Groot because he's kind of
right. Luigi's Groot.
Doing my B reel.
He's kind of tall. I think that's where it ends. He's green.
He's green. I totally forgot to mention why this game is called Sparks of Hope. Immediately something that happens is like a Luma shows up, like from the Mario Galaxy games. And for better or worse, it has combined with a Rabbid. And so it's like a Luma with a Rabbid's face, which is horrifying in a certain way, but
that
also
that sounds terrifying.
It's incredible. And they're essentially the things that you're having to like go around and like save from the dark mess.
Luma Rabbids. Wow.
It's incredible. Like they just look so bad, which is great.
That's a lot to digest.
Anyway, David, this will bring me to my Potiomistic thing of the week.
All right, yeah.
It's the trailer for the Resident Evil 4 remake, David.
Ooh, baby. So good.
I'm very excited for this. Like I said last week when I talked about Resident Evil for an hour, I am very excited for what they're going to do with Resident Evil 4, just based on like the tone that they've been setting with the first 2 remakes and also 7 and Village.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know that like a straight remake of 4 would have like made sense after all of that. And it seems like they are trying to keep a little bit of the campiness. Like the
bingo line's still in there apparently.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. I saw like the first area there where Leon's like fighting the villagers. He like shoots some like fireball thing.
A lantern.
Yes. I think he says, "You can bill me for that later," which is like
he
incredible.
He shoots a lantern and it falls on a bowl.
Yeah.
lights the bowl on fire, and then it runs into the granados. He goes, "You can bill me for that later."
Yeah, which like I think it's still very fun. I hope that they're able to make it like fit with the other two games and sort of how they've been doing it before. But I'm very excited to see where they go with that. Especially if like I'm just interested if they change anything, and like not in a bad way. I kind of want them to change some shit and see like what makes sense here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looked really fun. It looked really good. Just like visually incredible. Like all of those remakes have been like, Jesus Christ, like Capcom is on some other shit with their like visual fidelity.
Yeah, the game looks amazing.
Yeah, which like I'm usually not like a stickler for like games looking good, but like it looks really good. So
it looks really good, yeah. I think especially for horror games, that is kind of important because so much of it is the environment bringing you into. I mean, of course, it's important for every game, but especially I think specifically for scary games, you have to get people to invest into the reality of this spookiness,
or the unreality of it. In the case of Silent Hill 1, it being terrifying and looking terrible.
Sure did look bad, but I was damn scared.
It's so scary. But yeah, I know what you mean. That like if you're trying to visualize something like very grotesque and like real, then it helps to look very real, right? Like the fidelity helps you there. So
exactly,
I'm really excited for it. I also saw that the trailer for Silent Hill 2 dropped, the remake. Which
I was about to say, did you see that one too?
I did. I'm very interested in that one. I am hopeful for it. I would love another batch of people to play it because like I had my first experience with it very recently and thought it was one of the better games I've played this year, even despite it coming out like 15-20 years ago at this point.
Yeah,
I didn't expect it to be that mature of a storytelling device. So I hope that they do well with that. I hope some people are able to play it. I saw some people questioning like why aren't they remaking the first one, and like I hope it's on purpose. I hope that they're like, well, it looks like shit and that's part of it. And so like not like shit. I'm giving it less credit than it does. It looks scary and grotesque in a PlayStation 1 way. And like I feel
it's
like
its own thing.
Yes, yeah. It would be such a like I think smart decision to say that exists, but also like maybe just like put that out somewhere, like port Silent Hill 1 to like a modern console. That would be so cool. Doesn't have to look any better. Just like put it out there so I can play it.
Yeah, it's a great game.
It's a great game. Do you have anything fueling your sense of optimism, David?
Yeah, it's Mario.
It's Mario.
Mario is my optimism for the week.
The man himself.
That game and the music, specifically the music in that game, my God, it was just like, it wiped away my anxiety and all my negative thoughts. I'm just like, this is great. This is exactly what my brain needed right now. It was so good. It was so therapeutic, honestly. It was a therapeutic Mario experience. It was exceptional.
There's so many Mario games that have that effect on me.
Yeah, that's what I was really appreciating about it. It's like, there is no other game that consistently can make me feel this way other than Mario. And that's pretty damn impressive that Nintendo has consistently been able to hit that very difficult tone for all of those Mario games, essentially. Like, they come correct each time. It's honestly a staggering achievement for them to consistently put out mainline Mario games for decades now. It's quite a streak. If I'm stressed, I can just put on Dire Dire Docks, the song, and like kind of just washes away. Like is that your song? Let's hear it.
Yeah, I'll play a little Dire Dire Docks. You'll know what it is the moment you hear it.
That's a vibe.
So good, this song. Little minor right here.
Ooh, you knew it was coming.
I know this song inside out, unfortunately enough.
Do you need to make a remix of this song?
I mean, you're listening to it, I think is what's going on. You're listening to my remix. There's like a good YouTube video about this. A YouTube series called Alex Yard and Knuckles, and their video Mario 64's Dire Dire Docks music theory. They go so hard on this song, like really breaking it down, and it's so good. They do such a good job of explaining like what is going on in the music. Sorry, this is not my podmistic thing, but like, goddamn, you're right.
No,
like,
please.
Yeah, the Mario stuff, man, it's therapeutic.
It really is. I didn't know it was going to hit me like that, but man, it was so welcome. It was so welcome.
Sometimes I'll just pop on like, what's that first world in Mario 64? Is it Bomb on Battlefield? Is that what it is?
Had Big Daddy King Bomb on the top.
I'll just Bomb on Battlefield. I'll just play like the first couple levels there, and like it's perfect. That's very good.
Takes you to a time and a place.
It's just relaxing. Know exactly what to do. The music is great. It's very good. Do you want to move on to our main spooky thing, David? Welcome to the Spooky Story Corner.
To the Spook Zone.
I'm Chad Bones.
And I'm Spooky D.
And a little explanation as to why we're doing this. Since the beginning of this pod, every October we'll write a spooky story. I feel like there was a brief moment where you and I were like wondering if we should do like a story writing podcast.
There was in the line of Tales from the Tavern.
That's the newer one. Fantasy Fiction is the
Fantasy Fiction. That's the one.
Is the podcast we used to listen to with Dom and Josh.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, I haven't listened to it in a while. I should probably check that statement.
They stopped releasing episodes.
A long time ago. They stopped in like 2013. So it's been a while. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we both really enjoyed that. And we both were kind of toying with like, do we make a writing podcast? Definitely not, because at least I'll speak for myself. I'm not a particularly incredible writer. But it's a fun way to try and like make each other laugh. But we've specifically done it just for the spooky season, because like I can write one story a year. Weekly would be a nightmare.
Yeah, that's homework at that point.
Yes, like I feel like I'm never really pushing to finish anything for Podtimism, but like you gotta sit down and do it for this one. It definitely takes some time.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much we settled on a video game book club essentially for our podcast. So
yeah,
a little lower barrier to entry
for sure. Exactly. So anyway, that's what we've been doing the past few years, and we're gonna do it again tonight.
Get ready to be spooked and maybe have a chuckle. I don't know. Chase said that his is just straight up scary.
Mine is mostly just scary. Yeah, it's like there's a couple of jokes in there, but like it's like mostly spooky.
Chase was in the spooky zone when he wrote this.
I think so. Yeah. So I don't remember who went first last year, and I don't care who should go first today. I'm feeling the vibe of now.
Oh, you're feeling the vibe of now?
Just like I don't care what we did last year. I want to know what's appropriate for today.
Let's do it this way.
How
many words is your first sentence?
11.
Then I will go first. Mine's 5.
Okay, got it.
Does that work?
That works great. All right, David, tell us your spooky story.
I will. It's called If It's in a Word or If It's in a Book.
I'm already spooked.
Don't be too spooked. I got some jokes in here.
Yeah. I'm ready for jokes.
Okay. Brody Broham woke up shivering.
Yeah.
Frost clung to the windows outside, and a chilling breeze crept into his apartment from a forgotten, half-open window. Man, I'm freezing my damn nips off. Brody leapt out of bed and went to the window, half naked with feet sticking to his floor from the numerous parties that had graced it over the years. Goddamn janky-ass apartment. This window never shuts properly. He considered calling his landlord, but thought better of it when he remembered the last conversation he had with him. He quietly conceded to himself that if he wanted to get his landlord's help, he should probably pay his rent. That was now 3 months overdue.
Oh no, Brody.
I know, right, Brody. And stop getting so many noise complaints due to his constant partying. And should probably stop calling him a major chode whenever he tries to have an adult conversation with him about him not paying his rent and his loud parties.
His name makes sense now, David. I understand.
Yes. If it wasn't on the nose enough already. Self-doubt and inner turmoil roiling, Brody took a deep breath and looked at a framed picture of Taylor Swift, the only well-kept portion of his dingy apartment, and repeated quietly and reverently under his breath, haters gonna hate, hey. I'm just gonna shake it off. Damn T Swift, what would I do without you? He kissed his fingers and placed them respectfully on the picture, which seemed to recoil from his touch as much as an inanimate object could. His reverence was cut short, though, as suddenly a loud pounding came from his front door. Knock, knock, knock. Brody was startled and looked at the door in confusion. It was Saturday, Brody's single dude's party of one day. He wasn't expecting anyone. Ugh, must be that damn chode again, complaining about my Friday single dudes party of one. Hey, I turned down the music down to a respectful 100 decibels at 1 a.m. What more do you want from me? There was no answer from the door, but Brody was certain he could hear the floorboards creaking on the other side and could make out a shadow slowly pacing underneath the door. Hey, I can hear you standing behind there. What are you doing? Crash! The door seemed to almost jump off from its hinges from how hard it was hit. Brody ran to get his wizard's staff and then slowly crept to the front door to open it. All that was there, though, was a book. He could also make out some footprints in the grime of his entryway, as though a large animal had been standing there. A few strands of strange-looking hair floating in the air as they slowly made their way to the ground. He grabbed the book and went inside. The fuck is going on, man? Does DoorDash deliver books now? But who would send me a book? Books suck, my guy, he said to absolutely no one, making a douchey hand gesture in the air that nobody saw. Oh, damn, it's got pictures. We're back in business, baby. Are you enjoying Brody so far?
I'm loving Brody. I'm living for Brody. What's his last name?
Broham.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's really good.
Yeah, there we go. It's very original.
Yeah.
The book seemed old, leather-bound, but well-maintained. The title was Mr. TomTom Nook.
Oh.
Brody opened it up. If it's in a word or it's in a book, you'll never escape the TomTom Nook.
Oh my God.
Brody's pulse began to quicken. The book felt moist and sticky, and in some places felt warm, as if something had still been holding it before he found it. The pictures inside were not colorful or intricate, but stark and cold, as if they had been ripped out from shadows and pasted inside the book through some unknown means.
Oh my gosh.
They depicted a tall, hooded creature with a long, bushy tail. If you're really an honest one and you know what it is to pay, then you can make friends with a special one and live another day. His name is Mr. TomTom Nook, and this is his book. This page had a picture of the creature peering into an apartment that looked exactly as his own.
Jesus
A rumbling sound, and then 3 sharp nooks. Tom, 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 nook, nook, nook. That's when you'll know that he's around. You'll see him if you look. Brody looked up and realized that he never closed his front door. I'll soon take off my funny disguise. Take heed of what you've read, and once you see what's underneath, you're going to wish you were dead. This page was a pop-up with a character that strikingly resembled himself, wizard staff and all, laying on the ground with the ominous figure hovering above him, knife in hand. Another gust of wind rushed into the room, closing the front door with a loud nook. TomTom Nook. Brody felt a slow, icy chill run down his back, as though something was tracing his spine with one long, sharp, cold claw. He grasped his wizard's staff with all his might, and summoning all of his courage, turned around, ready to lay the smack down, but nothing was there. Shake it off, Broadster, it's all in your head. Some jelly chode probably sent this book to throw you off your game, he said to no one. His apartment had never felt more cold and empty, and he had never felt more alone on a single dude's party of one day. His fear soon turned to anger. He was pissed as hell that his vibes for the whole day were going to be off. He tried to put the weird book and its disturbing images out of his mind and place it high on a shelf that he never used. Out of sight, out of mind. Right, Tay-Tay? His picture of Taylor Swift was now a picture of the TomTom Nook, crudely pasted over the greatest pop songstress of our generation. From another room, a half-powered radio began playing Shake It Off, creating a rather disturbing and pitched-down rendition in between the static. TomTom Nook. Brody slowly stepped into his bedroom and saw a large hooded figure in black hanging from a corner of his ceiling. Its long, sharp claws and big bushy tail writhed at the sight of him. In his hand, Brody could see his wallet. The door behind him closed shut. TomTom Nook, Nook, Nook. An ad for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment ran in the newspaper the next day. It read, looking for a quiet and respectful neighbor. Please, no parties. No use of the word chode, please, in all caps. Contact Tom Nook if interested.
Wow.
The end.
Damn, David. That felt like a terrifying, like German children's story, like fucking Rumpelstiltskin or something.
It's very much a ripoff of the Babadook. Have you ever seen that movie?
Babadook, yeah. I have, yeah. Oh my God.
When I said I was claiming Tom Nook, I just said TomTom Nook in my head one time, and I got to make a Babadook reference for the story this year.
It's great. Yeah,
it's got to happen.
You did a really good job. That was much funnier than I was expecting it to be. You said there's a few jokes in there. I was laughing through pretty much the whole thing.
Well, thank you. I was trying to keep it light. So now I'm ready for your horrifying tale.
I got you in the ring for 5 minutes, and I'm gonna scare the pants off you.
I got you for 5,000 words.
Closer to 3, but whatever.
Close enough.
Wow, great job. I love that one, David. It's a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love Brody Broheim.
Had to use a lot of verbal onomatopoeia.
Yeah, it was really good. I wouldn't have thought to make, like I said, the German children's story out of it, but it's really nice. It's really scary.
Pay your rent. Don't be a chode.
Mm-hmm.
Don't call other people chodes. Maybe we are definitely not exemplars of that.
Sure, yeah. Do listen to Taylor Swift.
Do listen to Taylor Swift, and also landlords are evil. Yes,
it's true. Yeah, they are the Babadook.
They are the Babadook.
Wow, that was really good. I'm coming to still. I'm recovering.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did. Can I tell you mine?
Yes, please.
This story is called Homecoming.
Spider-Man?
No, something else. You'll recognize it.
Oh, okay. Oh, sure.
A single ship settles on the inky black void of space, the trails of its engine cooling down after the jump from a mass relay. On its side reads, The Hunnigan's Hope, an exploration ship. Its only other companion is a gigantic metal husk, perhaps a ship or perhaps not. The answer to which the crew of Hunnigan's Hope is trying to find out.
Captain's log, we've arrived at the coordinates that were provided to us from an anonymous source, and so far all we see is what looks to be a big ball of space trash, or space junk? Spunk. No, not spunk. Spash. Spash is better. I've asked Dr. Valoris to run some scans on it, but thus far all we've got is that it looks pretty beat up, and there doesn't appear to be any port to dock with. We'll report more when we have more updates. Hunnigan out.
Captain Hunnigan herself clicks off her log device and runs her hand over her now tired face. Can't wait for the official review board to ask me what spash means, for fuck's sake. Wish these things just didn't transmit immediately after recording, but here we are. She sighs, stands up, and makes her way to the bridge. Hunnigan's Hope, or the Hoper, as the crew has taken to calling it, was a gift from Captain Hunnigan's father about a decade ago. It was supposed to be Hunnigan's first foray into the cutting edge of space exploration, plotting new worlds, finding hidden secrets in the Milky Way long ago abandoned. However, thus far, it's mostly been a vehicle for the bureaucrats back at the Citadel to use to keep the higher-ups from complaining. Got an asteroid that needs staring at? The Hoper's your ship. The door to the bridge slides open, and Hunnigan sets foot inside. Dr. Valoris and Henry Mura are already at their posts. Valoris pushes her glasses towards her head and gives Hunnigan a slight nod upon entering the room. Henry announces, the captain's finally awake. We've been here for hours. Hunnigan breathes deeply as Valoris chimes in with, technically it was 34 minutes, 18 of which you were prying about my personal life. Henry says, would have been about 5 if you just came out and told me who were you up late messaging last night. Hunnigan, now attempting to interrupt whatever ribbing is currently going on, says, do we know what the vessel is? Have we found a port yet? And Valoris looks at Henry and gives him a little nod. Henry stands slightly more at attention and says, all right, first order of business with this thing. We started calling it the Bean, giving it sort of bean-like shape. We still don't know exactly what it is, though. Whatever it's made out of is making it pretty tough to scan any deeper than the surface, which is weird because there's no consistency between any of the material that it's built out of. Long and short is that we know it's made out of a whole bunch of parts that shouldn't be out here and in this formation. Now, I don't know if you could call it a port, but we found what we think we can use as an entrance, now pointing at a scan of the 3D object. Henry zooms in on what could be considered a corner of the object. There's a weak spot here. We can go in, the 3 of us, make a small cut on the edge of this thing, and I think that should let us into whatever it is. Hunnigan, a pit now forming in her stomach from the phrase, shouldn't be out here, finally speaks and says, Are we worried about this bean venting us the second we cut into it? Valoris chimes in from behind her, saying, the way the object is constructed wouldn't allow for any pressurization, let alone breathable air. The hole leaves too many open spots, too many sharp edges all over it. It won't vent on us. Hunnigan stares at the object, hoping that inside there will just be more space garbage and they can tag this as another boring mission to nowhere. Okay, take the hooper around to that area, cut into it, and let's see what we can get in there. Valoris gives another nod, and Henry starts on his work. Hunnigan turns away from them and makes her way back to her cabin, very aware of what feel like eyes on her from behind. She knows that Valoris and Henry weren't looking, but that object was still up on the display. It felt like an invitation into a stranger's house, but one who's been peering out of her at the front window. The three explorers drift slowly but surely towards the object, their paces controlled by their jumpsuits. Henry chimes in over their comm link. Cap, I can see that we're getting further away from the hopper, but I don't see the bean getting any much closer at all. Valoris crackles over the comms. It's the size of the thing. It's harder to see the edges grow closer when those edges are miles apart. Henry responds with, well, I don't love the way it looks is all. Spacewalk's neighbor made me feel all warm and fuzzy, and this big guy ain't helping. Hunnigan was doing her best to keep her brave face on. No one could see her, or at least no one on her team. So her effort at heroism fell on blind eyes. Hunnigan had done plenty of spacewalks before. She had investigated derelict ships, been to the edge of known space. Of course, sometimes there had been danger, someone squatting in an old ship, a relic of a long-dead civilization, but those were problems to be solved, discoveries to be made. This felt like something else. She had been staring at space her whole life, but somehow it felt like this moment, space was staring back. The three suits automatically attached to the exterior of the object's hull as soon as they came in close contact. Valoris released a cutting drone that begins to slice into the object. The three crew members stare at each other and sit in mostly silence as the drone does its work. Henry fiddles with the exterior, taking some of the debris that's shaking loose with the hull incisions, and Hunnigan tries to look confident but is quietly doing math about how long it would take to fly back to the hopper if she completely burned her suit's fuel. Valoris, reading the output of the drone, says, our door is almost open, preparing this subsection of hull to be removed and for our entrance. Stand by. Hunnigan's hands shook. Could have been a side effect of the spacewalk and breathing so much artificial air, but she knew better. Knew that she hadn't been out here long enough for that to be the case. The piece of now spash drifted away from the object slowly. The drone gives it a little tug to speed up the process, and then the three drift closer to the entrance, peering inside. The three explorers flip on their flashlights and move into the darkness inside the object. Henry is the first to speak. I can't see shit, Cap. Valoris follows with, team, confirm abnormal readings. My suit reads in excess of oxygen, nearly 120% of livable levels. Hunnigan snaps back into focus ever having been somewhere else in her mind. She peeks at her suit's readout, just as Valoris had said. There's far more oxygen in here than she'd expect. I'm seeing the same thing. Henry, are you able to? But before she can finish, Hunnigan is struck with the force of another body slamming into her own. Her suit begins to shout at her about a number of problems. A mishmash of glass and debris litters her vision, and she frantically tries to grapple with it. Finally, her vision clears, and she sees another human floating in front of her. His eyes are frenzied and mumbling. My name is Robert. My last name is gone. I am new. I am new. I am... Hunnigan's ears managed to hear Henry's voice through the now damaged speaker in her helmet. Hunnigan, are you in there? I'm going to try and restrain this guy. I don't know where he came from, but both he and you definitely need medical attention. Hunnigan? Whoa. You hearing me? Kelly, are you in there? Hunnigan's eyes are now drawn to where the man appeared from. She points her flashlight down the direction that he came from. Her light is not nearly bright enough to cut through the veil of darkness that is in front of her. However, what she doesn't see with her eyes, she now feels, like a beckoning. She remembers Valoris saying that the French had a phrase for the sensation of standing on the edge of a cliff and the feeling of the invitation of the ground. L'appel du vide, the call of the void.
Whoa, did you just speak French to me?
A little bit.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Hunnigan's eyes open. She's breathing and sitting in a well-lit room with an outfit that she certainly didn't bring with her on this trip. A man stands on the other side of the room, leaning against the wall. Good morning, he says nonchalantly. Where am I? The man pushes against the wall and moves a step closer. Home? He says nearly as a question, or at least as close as you'll be getting to one for a while. She says, am I on Earth? Where's my team? Earth? No, far from it, in fact. I believe one of you had called this the bean. He chuckles and smiles. I quite like that. It has a quaint sort of quality to it. Hunnigan,
Chicago.
Hunnigan, her mind racing and fear rising. I'm sorry, you're telling me I'm inside the object, that we didn't make it out? How is this room even here? There was certainly no signs of life on the scans we did. Before she's able to continue asking questions, the man begins, enough. It's quite all right. You don't need to be afraid. I know that these first few hours of getting to know your new life can be frightening, and it usually is for those who find themselves here, but you needn't worry. Those fears are an attachment to your old life you had, and we'll wash those away. Please, enter the first chamber.
No, don't enter the first chamber.
The man stands aside, and the door opens behind him. Hunnigan stands slowly, her legs shaky as she does. What's in there? She asks. The new you, he responds. The room then shifts. Where the door was previously in front of Hunnigan now appears below her and approaches quite quickly. She's falling. She closes her eyes, anticipating something to hurt. Instead, she finds herself in a living room. Strangely enough, it appears to be her living room back on Earth. Confused and a little frantic, she immediately bolts for the front door. She rips it open and in a flash is sitting back where she started. She attempts to run upstairs to find the rest of her family, surely sleeping. Perhaps they can help her. But as she bounds up the stairs, she finds that the top floor isn't getting any closer. She looks back and the bottom step of the stairs is still just as close as when she started. Hunnigan rips around the room, trying to use every implement of communication with the outside world and finding them all to have a similarly twisted answer to her pleas. Tired and discouraged, she sits on the chair closest to her television. There's gotta be a way back to the Hopper. She looks around the room and sees a device that is unfamiliar to the memory of her home. A recording chip. Looks to be the type that video comms are transmitted on. She picks it up and sees the word Kelly written on the side of it. She tentatively slides the chip into her television, trying to see if this is some sort of clue on how to leave this place. The images on the screen are confusing at first. Flashes of light, faint voices, but they eventually start to materialize into something more familiar. She sees her family, her home, her siblings. Eventually she sees the first time she met her childhood friends, her first time going to school, her first great accomplishments and her first great disappointments. She sees triumph, heartbreak, highs, lows. She sees mundane moments, and she sees moments she could never forget. She also sees her travel on the Hopper. She sees Valoris and Henry. She sees herself coming to the object, and she sees herself entering this room and watching this film. The video slows down. Time has passed, although she is very unclear about how much. Kelly peers at the screen, in a way coming out of a haze. She looks at the nearly still image of herself on the screen. All she can see is the backside of her head sitting in the chair, but it's not her. It's someone else unfamiliar. It barely resembles a person, in fact, more like a crude drawing of a human figure seen in the dark. Kelly raises her hand, and in turn the figure does too. She stands up, and the figure does as well. She notices that the angle from which she's looking at, the figure is looking down, as if filming from upstairs.
No.
Kelly whips around to look at the top of the stairs, and for just a moment she sees the same figure, standing, arms at its sides, looking back at her. Its face is a blank and smoothed canvas without features or expression.
Oh no.
Kelly stumbles backwards and falls onto her side. She catches sight of the screen and herself doing the same. Not the figure this time. Her. The video begins anew. Kelly finds herself unable to look away, watching the same familiar images, the same events, although it is faster this time. She reaches the conclusion much quicker than before, watching herself look upstairs, tumble over a flash of light, starting the video again. The third time goes without a fuss. The fourth feels like it only takes a few breaths to get through, and the fifth is over in an instant. The sixth feels like the film was played all at once. Kelly begins to experience the video in a new way. It reminds her of what it felt like to look through a mirror when there was another mirror on the opposite wall, appearing to go on forever the harder she looked. Events and images turn into feelings and sensation, until finally, relief. She's now standing at the top of the stairs looking down in the living room, looking down at someone with her body. She's frustrated to see someone imitating her and feels an urge to cast aside whoever is down there. The man now standing beside her speaks, "It's been some time. It's good to see you again. How was your journey?" Kelly reaches for the last emotion she felt about this man, but it somehow feels distant and unfitting for this situation. In its place is what she feels like a familiarity and near adoration for this person. She speaks, "I feel okay. That was quite an experience. Am I free to go?" He says, "Just about. Just answer this question for me. What's your first and last name?" She begins with, "Kelly. That much is clear. but so much of the other words she grasps for in her head are just out of reach. They feel unwieldy when considering them. However, a word she's heard a lot today is much more familiar. Chambers, she says. The man smiles and says, well, then our work here is done. You're free to go. Kelly grapples with the thoughts of this man and this place in her head, but all she finds is something that borders on appreciation. Although she's keen to return back to her crew, her desire to run out the door isn't nearly as intense as it was. She takes one more look down the stairwell and sees the doppelganger of hers shouting silently up at her. This Hunnigan produces anger in Kelly's stomach. Better to leave her behind. Kelly steps out of the door that the man has opened for her in the hallway. The next thing that Kelly experiences is weightlessness. She opens her eyes and she's back where her and her crew just cut into the object. However, the three people she sees in front of her are unfamiliar. 3 suits much fancier than hers stand at her attention. One of them speaks, "Ma'am, are you all right?" "I'm just fine, thanks. Do you know where my crew is?" "Ma'am, there's no one else here. We were sent to investigate this object on an anonymous tip. Supposedly 3 explorers went missing here 28 years ago. Do you happen to be or know anyone named Kelly Hunnigan?" Kelly pauses. "I don't, no, but I really would appreciate a ride out of here. It's been a long day." The end.
Whoa. Kelly Chambers' origin story. My goodness.
Kelly Chambers.
Kelly Chambers. You knee Kelly Hunnigan.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
In I think it's the 3rd game, you at some point can tell Kelly Chambers she has to make a fake identity and her last name is Hunnigan in that one, just so everybody's aware.
Ooh, all right. And she chose Hunnigan?
In the game, yeah.
So is Kelly Chambers like some sort of like artificial being then from the bean?
Kind of sounds like it, right?
3 on the bean went missing. That's what happens.
I realized about halfway through that I was just writing Annihilation, the movie.
I was about to say big Annihilation vibes. I wrote the Babadook, so it's fine.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna. There's no copyright infringement here. We didn't say that this is an adaptation of the Babadook. I just watched it.
Yeah. Natalie Portman's going to bust through your screen right now and arrest you.
God, dude. The end. I saw Annihilation by myself in the theaters, which was pretty spooky.
I saw Hereditary by myself in the theaters.
Oh my God, dude. That is so much worse. Annihilation was like unsettling and like the use of music was like, ooh, this is pretty spooky.
Yeah.
Hereditary would have sent me to another fucking dimension if I didn't like watch that with somebody else.
I only had myself to process that with.
Dude, oh my God. That is a really rough solo watch.
It's I think that's the only movie I've ever seen by myself.
Of all the ones you could choose.
I really wanted to see it.
Not like the newest Ice Age or something. God damn.
I was just finished a day at like my field work, my internship. And I'm like, time to go see Hereditary.
Fuck. That is so
Don't
brutal.
ask me why. I was built different in my 20s, baby.
I guess. Yeah, I couldn't do that now. Couldn't see the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, a 2022 film.
They're making another Ice Age?
It came out this year already.
What's it? The Adventures of Buck Wild?
Yeah.
Why are they doing this?
Apparently Simon Pegg plays Buck Wild.
You're saying a lot of things that don't make any sense to me right now.
Anyway, that's our spooky stories. Hope you enjoy. Getting
thanks for listening, getting spooked with us.
We've been Spooky D and Chad Bones.
This has been an original Spooky D and Chad Jones joint. Chad
Jones is interesting.
That's a very different person.
Yeah.
Chad Bones is much cooler.
I like Chad Bones, yeah. It's Chad Bones again saying hello. If you want to do anything at us on the internet, if you would like to email us, talk to us on Twitter. We're at Podtimism, but you can find a link to that at www.podtimism.com. We got links there. You can listen to the episodes there if you would like to. I don't know why you would, but it is an option. So yeah, that's a thing. You can check out the links there. If you want to help out the show, 2 things you can do. 1, review it on your podcatcher of choice. Again, seeing people do that with some regularity. So thank you. I appreciate that quite a bit.
Yeah, thank you.
You can also tell a friend about the podcast. Also see people doing that. Thank you for that. Yeah, it helps. We are not the sort of podcast that blow up overnight, but it is very encouraging to see it sort of slowly but surely growing. And it's really fun that way. I really appreciate seeing like who's chiming in now and who's like reaching out or like listening or anything like that. It's very encouraging. So real quick, just going to shout out the one, the only Scout herself, Scout Wilkinson. She made our podcast art and it's very good. Even in the spooky cold seasons, it brings me warmth and encouragement.
Scout Spookerson? That's the best I could do on short notice.
Let me just throw out Spook Wilkinson.
Spook Wilson.
Spook. Wait.
Sorry, I know you said Spook. I know you're saying Spook Wilkerson, but Spook Wilson sounds like the forgotten Wilson brother, which is really funny to me.
I love Spook Wilson. Yeah, holy shit. Yeah, thank you, Scout. You do great work. If you would like to see what she does, she's at Humble Goat most of the places. So follow her on Twitter or check out her Ko-Fi page. She does great work. Lastly, thank you, listener. Deeply appreciate you being here, supporting this show about video games. Appreciate you supporting us in these weird episodes we choose to make, which feature some video games, but not all video games. So
video game adjacent.
Yeah, it's close. We talked about Kelly Chambers and TomTom Nook.
TomTom Nook.
It's very good. It's very frightening. I like that. Yeah, it's very flattering. It's very encouraging. It is a two-way street, I guess. Like it provides me with a lot of joy when people listen to it. So appreciate you doing that.
Yeah. Thank you.
With that, David, do you have any gaming wisdom to close out this spooky season?
I do. I do. The first one is don't mess with strange beans.
Yeah, weird beans are usually not a good idea.
Weird beans, if they look weird, if they smell funny, don't mess with them. Throw it in the trash. You don't need that bean.
Spoiled
that
beans.
That bean could get you. Second of all, don't call people chodes. Don't call people chodes.
Yeah, unless they've earned it. Sometimes people do earn it, but it's pretty rare, I feel like.
Kanye West chode.
Earned it.
Certified chode.
Yeah, earned that one.
But give people a chance before you call them a chode. Sometimes maybe they're actually the TomTom Nook and they're going to get you, so you don't know. Not that that's a reason to not be mean to someone is the threat of death, just out of the kindness of your heart, just be kind. Just be good.
Sometimes maybe they're having a bad day, woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and they're responding in a way that triggers you. I get that, but you know what? You can let that one roll off you.
Let it roll. You just gotta shake it off, baby. Shake it off.
You got to shake it off.
Yeah. It's a great mantra, honestly.
Yeah, I know it's not bad. Thank you for that one, Taylor.
So I have a quick question for you, Chase, before we go.
Oh yeah, sure.
What movies would Spook Wilson star in?
Spook Wilson. He would star in Wedding Killers.
Wedding Killers, good.
He would star in...
He could star opposite Tom Hiddleston in the Disney Plus original show Spooky.
Wow, that's
with
really
an eye.
Good. Yeah. He stars in Boolander.
Ooh, Boolander. That's a good one.
I feel pretty good about Boolander, David.
No, that's solid. That's a solid one. What else has he been in?
I feel like I have seen Owen Wilson in so many things.
Owen Wilson.
Apparently, he's in Night at the Boozeum.
Night at the Boozeum. Use something other than boo. We've heard it. He's in Haunted Mansion. That's easy. That's an easy one.
That's right there on the tin. The movie where he plays a animated set of long, sharp, I guess, fingers, claws instead of cars.
Gotcha. Where he plays Lightning McScream.
Oh Jesus, yeah, much better. Thank you, David. I was drowning in a unfunny ocean, and you bailed me out.
It's good. We're good. We're doing it all, baby. We're doing it all.
Marley and Scream.
Oh man, was he in the second season of that one show, the cop show, whatever it is?
The cop show.
He wasn't in that, was he?
Are you thinking of Starsky and Hutch?
No, but he was in that, wasn't he?
Oh, Shanghai Frights.
That's a good one. The Dar Squeaming Unlimited.
Yeah, there you go. Dar Scream Unlimited?
Squeam.
Sure. Like squeamish. I got you.
You, me, and Spooky.
That's it. Yeah, I can't top that one. No, that's it.
That one's ridiculous.
Is that You, Me, and Dupree? Is that the movie you're saying?
Yeah, You, Me, and Dupree.
I can't top it, David. That's it. Happy end of spooky season, everybody. Hope it was a good one for you.
Happy Halloween. They're probably listening on Halloween. That's Monday, right?
Happy Halloween today, man.
Happy Halloween.
Bye.
Bye.